my dad worked for U.S. Rubber, and he was sent to New York and worked in that office, and then he went to Passaic in New Jersey, and then I don't know what happened because I didn't, they don't talk to you, but he was looking for another job, and he went to interview at Lockheed. So he came to, and then Mother started teaching. Down here, she taught in Tennessee, because I remember going to she taught in a one-room schoolhouse, and that was fascinating. So, well, I didn't go to school in Alabama because Mother went to Alabama and Daddy went to Auburn, and it was kind of hard to choose those. And also, they were bigger schools, and Ole Miss was a smaller school, and I kind of liked that. But I was there when Meredith integrated, and we were out. There was a big football rally, so everybody went to see the football team come back, and then all of a sudden there were all these marshals everywhere, federal marshals, and then I guess Meredith came in, and people started rioting. I don't know. I didn't think anything about it because I'd been to school in New Jersey, I really don't think that many people that went to Ole Miss were the rioters. It was a lot of people that came in because we couldn't wear blue jeans at that time. I mean, we had to wear dresses. Girls still had to wear dresses. And there were a lot of people there that were in blue jeans and other things like that. So I'm sure there were a lot of Mississippi students that were rioting, but most of them, I think, were from out of place. I mean, other places. Because I think that was planned. I don't know. Well, I went to major in sociology, but I ended up having 3 majors. I have English, psychology, and sociology. See, I didn't have any education courses. So it was kind of when Mr. Hayes is the one that got me teaching here. Well, when Mr. Hayes thinks that he has a good idea, you just sort of agree. Because I know he brought Butch here, and he probably brought a lot of people here. But he decided I would be a good teacher, and I kept saying, well, I don't have a teacher's license. And he says, no problem. So, and Carolyn Jenkins, I think he brought them over here too. So, he brought a lot of people over that he thought would be good teachers. And he was probably right, because I was looking for a job in social work. I would have been an awful social worker. So, well, when I first started teaching, you had filled your lesson plans out, but they were your lesson plans, and then later on you had to turn them in. And then after the county got so big, the county kind of took over the curriculum and everything, and so it kind of, we couldn't do as much as as fun things. We had to be, it's more strict. I'm sure it's better, but I think it was when it was more personal. When I first started teaching, we taught in little groups, and we could get around and do fun things. Like we made a rainforest when we were teaching rainforest, we made a rainforest out of the hall, and had breakfast when we were teaching nutrition, cooked breakfast. It was, I don't guess you can do stuff like that much anymore. We covered such a big area because all the other little schools weren't here, Baker and they weren't around, so we covered way across the 4-lane and way down that way. And so when you had children, you had them from a big area. And there were a lot of children that were really poor. That I remember eating, we had to eat with our kids at lunch, and they would look at the food and they would say, do you want that roll? I said, here. I gave away a lot of my food because some children were really hungry. And then they started the breakfast program at Ackworth, and I guess in all of Cobb County, but that was a great thing.
When did that begin?
But the kids could come and eat breakfast at school, and that helped their learning too. It was just a great atmosphere, I think. And when I first started teaching, everybody I taught with taught me something, so that was, Well, when we first moved to Ackworth, there was one stoplight in the middle of town. And, when they say about if you blink, you miss it, that's probably about right. Well, it's gotten so much bigger, and there's all these places. There wasn't any place to eat. I mean, if there was, I didn't know about it. But my husband says you couldn't even buy a pizza in Ackworth, and so because he's from New Jersey and pizza is his favorite food. So I think Ackworth has grown for the better. You know, it used to be really nothing, and now it's everything. But it's always been a friendly town. You know, people were kind. I think that's the one thing I remember the most. Because when you come from New Jersey to a southern town, you're sort of an odd duck. So.